Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Fire Per Heart, children of God, and that's you, and that's you, and that's me, and that's me. We hope all of you that we are correct. What are we doing right now? Oh, she's gonna give another warning. Ooh. If you're in a mentality like that, you probably should be concerned. How do I say this? And then I hope I don't forget names or whatever. Okay, so if anyone knows, I have had, it stays a pretty solid part in my heart or mind as my ex-family. They were not a family. A lot of fake facades. I didn't know how much it had infiltrated the grandchildren. I really believe Jesus knew it was heavy on my heart. And I don't know if it was accidental, but as I've shared, we use Androids, and I've noticed, but I don't try a lot of social media platforms, but sometimes Android, I think it does, there's some kind of glitch of sorts. So on my Instagram, I don't really have it up and going much. I repost some people, and sometimes do like a short clip of mine. I had posted, the guy's name is a Kirk something. I don't know if he's super ultra conservative, but he's extremely passionate about, he's very anti-abortion. So, or pro-life, however we want to label that too. So anyhow, sometimes when I try to repost something, it'll say your story and then the messenger, and I always press my story. Then sometimes I go back and look in my Instagram, and it'll go into a messenger, but normally it just goes to my story. Or sometimes it won't even let me put it on my story. It'll just bring up the messenger, like a personal messenger with the few that I'm subscribed to, and I'm like, no, I pressed my story. None of this is really important. You would say, I guess you could say, the youngest in the family. She reached out to me, and she was very passionate about her view on women's reproductive rights and all that. Women care, and so I appreciated that, but there was a strong feeling of hesitation. But I'm like, oh God, she's the youngest. Maybe she's trying to reach out to me. But really what it was it really was gaslighting. She's actually very skilled. I mean, I would figure that with where she's coming from, her mom and her father. But very cunning, manipulative people. I mean, actually, my brother said to me once, what do you think that I would pick? Like, how do you think that... I mean, he was literally admitting to being, like, how manipulative and cruel he could be. Meaning, like, would he marry a woman that was, like, super sweet, more or less is what he was saying. And, yeah, like everyone's scared of her, meaning the one he married, because she can destroy someone in one foul swoop, and you won't even know that she destroyed the person. Like, you would never know. You would never know. Why do I have a story like this? Well, I'm trying to encourage myself to continue my testimonies, even though I don't get any views. Sometimes it's propelled by some weird health concerns, but so shortly before my brother got married, so we're going to go way back in time, he met his wife. They divorced around somewhere between 2002 the kids were still pretty young, including my child. They were always trying to drag us back because they had to cover the exploitation of children. They've literally been exploiting the youngest born online on social media platforms since she was super small. Not fully sexual, but some of it was awkward. Trust me, she's probably got more perverts following her around, and she's in her mid-20s. So, I had a friend that I went to high school with. We kind of met back up after I got saved around 19. She's about a year older, or maybe about the same age, and a year overlap, if that. And her mother worked with my ex-sister-in-law. Now you got to understand, back then I was literally so spaced out, and I would flip-flop my identity to please my mother and father, just keep all of them calm. But in essence, I was completely abandoning my true self, even if I didn't have a full understanding of it yet by 20. You don't if you come from satanic ritual abuse that's hidden. Okay, so this girl, we were in cheerleading together. We weren't really that close. Sometimes I look back at it and wonder, because we were really close for a minute, but she's more of a micromanager too. So she was already planning out, like, some people go around in their lives and they set it up like it's a stage play to get or receive what they want or what they want to acquire. I'm not saying she fully was like that, but I learned later, yes, she was. But that's not the point of the story. This is to discuss certain types of people that are really, really, really good at controlling a lot. And this old friend of mine's mother, they literally sat with me in the kitchen one day and asked me how long I'd known my future sister-in-law and what my thoughts were on all of it. And I said, well, quite frankly, I'm quite scared of her. She's really controlling. I mean, I've actually been having trouble with them interfering. She's actually helped amp up the control with my parents and then the abuse of my brother. And I'm feeling more hog-tied to this operation than I even did at 13. So, and I'm going to keep reiterating this silly story where I was going to stay in Italy, 14, 15, somewhere in there. It seems like it was 15, but I look at some of the pictures if they pop up, and I was so emaciated because I didn't eat much, and I was delayed in puberty development. And when you're in a competitive sport like that, where you don't have to wear, where they have you dressed in barely any clothes, the girls are usually forced into eating disorders. It's almost like it's contagious, It's like, so what I'm saying is, I don't know if I was around 15, so I believe she would have just been getting into the family. So I know they had my nephew out of wedlock. And she thought she was marrying into money and whatever, and that's what my first one thought too. And I'm postponing the story because I'm afraid I'm going to use names. So, I mean, this discussion didn't go on for hours on end, but I think that actually my friend's mother was concerned highly. And I'm sure there was even advice that to taper off because this woman was marrying into my family. And I didn't talk about stuff back then. I didn't know I was lying at the time, or maybe I did. I protected a lot of the abuse because I never knew, even back then, before like social media platforms, how quickly stuff would get back to my family. I mean, sometimes it was as if I couldn't believe that if I confided in this one person, I didn't even know they were fully associated with the core group of my abusers, and they would somehow still find out. And it wouldn't even be that I said something bad. It would probably just be something like, I got to get out of here. You know what I mean? And there was already major wreckage by 19 from the adults in this unit. So my friend's mom, and I don't, like I said, this wasn't like, she's a no-nonsense kind of woman. So she discussed her personal experience working with this woman at a job. A job where it requires training. It requires, there might have been some on the job training, like maybe in books and stuff, accounting, but I doubt it. I mean, it was in a dental, I believe this was in a dental environment. And I believe, I mean, this is so long ago, so please bear with me. And I was in a I didn't know I was in a full out panic attack all the time, but I never got a break from anxiety ridden thoughts for many years. Some of it was reduced, some of the turmoil was like slowly but surely decreased, but it was a number of years before that happened, because I had to still continue a lot of memory blocking to get by. Her story was horrifying. She said that this woman came into the employment, pretty much destroyed her career. She fully focused on destroying this woman's position or her reputation, or just make her life a living hell, through gossip, slander, and I think setups to actually get my friend's mother fired. Or she had to leave, or there was some other event. And maybe I have that wrong. Maybe they asked my ex-sister-in-law to, politely leave, but I know they were quite concerned that this was gonna be who, and I had expressed to them that, like, she had already tried to force me to be close to her, and that her core friends that she went to school with, they were all gossipers, they were all troublemakers. I had tried to go to like a swimming party once. They were all into those bachelorette parties. I never even went to one. I mean, if I got invited to one, I probably made sure I was clear across I was incognito, okay? Ain't going to a bachelorette party. I think there was one I got dragged along on, and it was my old neighbor from when I left my first husband, and she was a full out, she wasn't getting paid, but she was, I would just call her a prostitute. A walking scary train. So she slept with my husband while we were at the apartment, and she cheated on her husband all the time, or her boyfriend, fiance, and she would not. We're on to another subject now, and I'm sure there'll be a reason behind that, but that was the only bachelorette party I ever went to, and it was horrible. It was just more small, so, she would like give her toddler cough syrup past the legal amount and the kid was like half brain dead and retarded. Okay, so, no, I mean it, like, highly delayed and cognitively spaced out. I don't know if anyone ever fully got the kid from her, but she'd be like, yeah, I just give her cough medicine to make her go to sleep. I'm like, how often are you giving her cough medicine? Because she's already really quiet and reserved. Well, this was a weird story to say that the offspring of that woman who destroyed another woman's life, and trust me, she's destroyed more than one person's life, uh, that married into my family. But really, when you think about it, it was a perfect fit for the abuse. And since she was super tied in with people that worked in the county, in probation, and police, perfect. What better way to completely, totally destroy the last fragment of any spirit that my brother had left? That was a bizarro, devouring, soul devouring event to watch. Oh man, it was a rough one. And I was worried that the kids I knew they got the money spirit. The money. Show me the money. Show me the newbies. Show me the new this. Show me the new that. So from what I experienced, now we're going to go to current. So she texts me in Messenger about the thing, and I'm like, how do I go about this? Because I'm not well, and not that I want to prove myself. That's not what it's about. But I definitely feel that it's a time in our world and in our events, because it looks like she's selling her body online. And I think her mom is her pimp. Maybe her dad, my ex-brother, was first her pimp handler. I don't know, but I don't know if she gets paid for hourlies, views, or like peep shows, or it's bad. It's bad. And the thing is that she's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if she's already done some fillers. She didn't need them. So I'm thinking she's been, how cooperatively, I don't think it's like a full hostage situation, but I think someone definitely set her up to say and do what she did to me during Messenger. And I let her. I didn't really defend myself. I just more than once tried to say, we both have our own story. I'm about, 20 so years older than you, and there's just, I have my reasons for my decisions. And I gave some tidbits to kind of, maybe she'd back off. No. She is literally right off the old chip off the block, or chip off the iceberg. And she's actually more cunning and manipulatively cunning than I'm thinking, even the ones that I was raised with. It didn't keep me up all night. I was disturbed, very disturbed. And I thought maybe she was just reaching out for some consoling, but no. She only reached out to me to let me know that I don't know what I'm talking about. That I have no idea about what really happened. And that I don't really have a right, I guess, to be disconnected from them. And that they're just a wonderful family. And that I don't need to worry about my will because I'm not getting one. And that they have it fully under control. So then why do you want me to enter back into the den? Because I can't believe that you're exploiting your body like that online. And it actually made me want to puke. And I think your mom is a pimp, and it's disturbing on all levels. And I don't have to prove my reasons for no contact. I made it very clear over the decades. I was not even really in your life. You really weren't around. You were kept from the family. They lied to you so much, kept everything hidden. And they also gave you pills when you were really young to keep you shut up. And it was around the times I know your dad got super crazy weird. And there was other people handling you. And your mom and dad, against my will, videoed you children doing weird things, not full out. And stuff had happened over at the main homestead of the elders. that I had to deal with. And she went as far as to say things like, oh, give me a break. If you were raped, my dad would have been raping me. I mean, it was bad. But it was weird, like her ability to write this stuff. To just, you really wouldn't be able to even really say anything. That's someone in their 20s. So that means she got the side of her mother and then was able to actually embellish it more because of she's comes in a pretty package. However, my small experience over the weekend was she could slice and dice any man's mind probably within a week. I don't know if they would know the entrance to the exit door in a theater associating with her. And I'm just finding it a little weird that it skipped me, this type of mentality to maneuver and do like that. But it like skipped me and then went into the grandkids or something. And I mean, I don't have any proof of nothing. This is just my instincts. I could be way off on this one. So I think she's actually living a lesbian lifestyle, possibly trying to get artificially inseminated, and it's not working. So then she's adding that turmoil. And I called her in like 3 or 4 lies, or refusal to remember properly. So you figure by mid-20s, she's already in some sort of fogged out amnesia, selling her body online, and degrading her only really aunt that has any kind of care about anything important. And I had to just block her account. I dove back in a couple more times to try to establish that I have my reasons, you have your memories, I have mine. We're allowed our own story. And I sat back for a minute and I'm like, if I had done that to one of my aunts, elders, like what she's doing, she did across long paragraphs, by the way, they probably, no matter where they lived, would have found a route to come and whoop my ass. So I wouldn't even think to do that to someone that I don't know. I was not in her life, and any narrative or dialogue I ever knew about her was through the child exploiter perverts. And if that was the only narrative I got, and then I'm like calling up the estranged aunt and like doing some kind of wacko on her. Well, this was really long to say that that whole story, where we, is because please pray before you allow anyone back in your life that it appeared God had cut the ties. In my instance, I still had this little, oh, the poor little babies. And I think Jesus is like, no poor little babies here, honey. They're all very aware of what they're doing. And you don't need to even take this much lamenting in the little brain part or in your heart and even think about those serpents. Because those serpents are right here. And they're the generation after you. Because I think it was like a little pinhole of like, how is she into introspection? or just using her body to get attention. And but see, that's okay, because depending on where we come from, in our 20s, if we come from a really disturbing family, a lot of times we're still defending them. One minute we could be saying this one thing because we know it's true, and then the next minute we could be angry at someone agreeing with us and then screaming at them, how dare they disrespect our handlers. And I believe anyone is savable. I believe that she can have an awakening, and it's not that I'm completely shutting it out. It's that definitely prayer and not answering any doors, and don't come up in my driveway, and I will call the cops. So they won't help me, but I'm gonna call the cops on you, and just like y'all have done to me. So don't come on my property. Stay away from me, and I'll stay away from all of you. I've tried to stay away. I don't know how we ran into each other on Instagram. I think you found me. I kind of already knew something was weird, because none of you ever have checked on me, ever, not once, in all the years I've known you. So I think that you were more worried or upset I was still alive, because I know how important money is. So I think that was it too, is like they're trying to she's with the last resort. I asked about what happened to the other fractions in the family. No answer. Tried to establish that whatever they saw of my brother, him and me alone, was a whole other operation. And the wolves sent her. The wolves sent the last bait. It's sad. It's sad. I mean, I knew when she was super tiny that they were going to use her, you know. And if they could come up with a way to make monetary gain, they would. Probably all they really did was get a bunch of extra perverted, stalking predators after family members, is all they did, from exploiting that gorgeous little girl from the youngest age. Her mother is one of them that I would go argue tooth and nail. I don't want my son on these social media platforms until he's old enough to navigate properly, because it is I would have been saying this 25 more years ago. I'm like, this technology is going to be just immersed, like packed up to the grill of predators for little kids, on little kids. And she would look at me like I was just the most horrible mother, that I wasn't letting my son have video games all the time and all of that, and that I wanted his brain to be a little more capable, not so easily influenced, and that he had his whole life ahead of him to destroy his mind with video games and social media platforms. And they would just like go behind my back and stuff, and I knew that there was predators on the other side of the family too, so I was trying to just keep him a little bit safe as long as I could from added predators online. Jesus Christ, we'd be looking at back in, if I'm 50, and then so however long YouTube and all that's been around, I didn't want him on there until he was old enough that he could navigate. And I don't see where that's such a horrible thing. So, but I hope you're proud of your prostitute daughter. And I will add that in at the end, because you guys made her into that. And she could have been actually something really important. something really maybe extremely important and influential in our world, not just another two-bit hussy showing all of her goods to every pervert under the sun. So once again, what do we got to do this about twice a year now? You guys stay over there, and we're still working with the Lord to get the fuck out of here. Okay? Outside of that, stay out of our driveway. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. You're not a little girl anymore. So stay away. And I'll do the same. And I feel really sorry for you. That you think all the worth that you are is in your body. And your mother will have to also answer to God about what she helped do to you. So, the moral of the testimony, too long a one by the way, is it's almost Easter. Be ready for some vipers to come out of the woodwork. Test the spirits before letting anyone re-enter your life that was probably strategically and appropriately removed from your social circle when they were, for your protection as a true Christ believer. Is if you lean like me, you want it all to be better, but you know that there's steps required to do so. And she's become, and she's had her whole life ahead of her, but she's become exactly what I feared she would become. And I actually puke when I think about them over there, like, helping my first rapist. And I kept the hands off the kids for the most part, or tried to disrupt the perverted bullshit.